Right?
Commanding General YAHANNA, we will be live on the streets. 91.9 FM. From 7 p.m. hosted by Officer Swakyala and Officer Makoya. The Commanding General YAHANNA every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets. 91.9.
Right. Yeah, shalom again.
Shalom, shalom.
Right. This is ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago again under Commanding General YAHANNA and Priest and Officer Swakyala.
Priest and Officer Macquarie.
Right. So again, just a gentle reminder to brothers and sisters, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. Right. We are not affiliated with no religious group or organization. We teach the truth according to the Bible, that so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are the biblical Israelites, that have been, removed from their homeland, right? Because again, of not following the instructions of the Lord, right? Where can we find these instructions? Again, in our recorded history, which is called the Bible. Again, meaning compilation of books, right? Or biblios, right? These records could be found there, right?
Again, no matter calling for the viewing and listening audience, 342-0081, 466-5391, or 771-1791.
Right. So again, our school location is again number 1 Morris Street, Point 14, right? You could check us out there, right? Number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. We also, have an upcoming food and clothing drive, right? The location is yet to be, given, right? So we could be, doing that food and clothing drive, at the school building, right? At, probably we could be doing it, on the promenade where we do or street teaching, right? These are some of the locations, where it could be done, right? So just a reminder for brothers and sisters, again, tune into, our Facebook, YouTube page or to the school pages, right, to get the update on, that date where we'll be doing our food and clothing drive, right?
Okay.
Right. So what are we looking like? What are we looking at tonight?
Well, tonight we could get in a little bit on the lack of information coming in from the leaders that is over us. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
The scriptures say leaders cause us to err,
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Now, when we look at the different crafts that coming in from this nation, this US nation, right? They must get some form of authorization to come into the waters.
Right.
They must get authorization to come in Trinidad to do their drills. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But yet still, the leaders, they keep saying that they have no information.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So so right now is it very tricky for the people that don't have a certain knowledge, which is that biblical knowledge or that biblical understanding, to know exactly what's happening. You understand? And again, we are here to teach the truth according to the Bible and to give you what your religious leaders supposed to be giving you, and they are not. You understand? So
right. And I know we brought out it's so very important and very relevant even to today now, because when you look at some of these, as we say, what we would call first world, nations, any form of, let me say, a warfare, or any form of civil unrest, the people in that, area would be, highlighted and be wanted to be brought to that attention. And what we see going on in Russia, the people in Russia are still functioning, right? Because why? Their leaders, do what? Give them warning at the expectation of what could take place or what could happen within a minute. The people in Ukraine, we see what happening to them on the back front now. They now being faced with many different challenges. We jump from there and we go to Israel, we go to Gaza, we go to many, as we say, different fronts of where, any military activity would be taking place, or war on a whole would be to the forefront of the minds of these people, battling against, anything that would come up against, let me say, their culture,
Right.
their ways, their laws. You would see that, and who would be enlightening them or highlighting or bringing it to the reminder them? Their leaders.
Yeah.
This is why, again, we do the same thing as well. Because again, the so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, we belong to a family, we belong to a nation. So we would bring that reminder to this family or to this nation.
Right.
Because right now, again, we are at war. What we've seen happening to our brothers and sisters, in as you say, in America, the so-called, as you say, Hispanic brothers,
Right.
the so-called Native Indian brothers, what we've seen happen to them, as you say, so-called Black people
Right.
in America, they are faced with challenges daily, and out a warning now, without enlightening them to know, hey, we at war. Then what would happen now? Then we would we'd be laid back, and what would happen now? The enemy would come in and overtake us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this again is very important for us, and we will continue again. Lord will, and the Most High God continue to make the provision, make brothers and sisters or bring to their awareness the truth. And how are we going to do that? By the prophets,
Right.
by the men who He choose now to speak this or to bring this out. Because now again, on any platform, any given platform, where we at right now, I say we 2025, right? Their physical or fiscal year, right? Where they would, be winding down. But we know that our, fiscal or year begins when? In springtime, right? Again, just a reminder as well, the Lord's 57th annual Passover would be held in, in Houston, Texas, right? April 4th, right? Check us out, Houston, Texas, 2026.
Right.
Would be the beginning of so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, fiscal year. Because again, our year begins, in the time of spring, right? And again, we would never, try to, or use anything that would bring to the mindset of our people, or to throw them off, or to pull them down.
Right.
Our reminder, just like we were reminded, is to empower the mind of the Black man, to empower the mind of the Hispanic man, to empower the mind of the Native Indigenous people mind. Because now again, we just had some just recently with the first people here, right? And we see where there's a lot of things that is being hidden, and it will make the platform of where it will be brought to the minds of I'd say all people. So now we just like in a shadow, right? But here the thing about it now, the Most High God always had righteous black men. And when I say black men, I'm talking about this house, this family, the sons of Jacob,
Right.
Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and these are some of the names: Simeon, right? Issachar, right? Asher, who are, as we say, at the brink of as we say, the enemy drawing, as we say,
Closer and closer.
Munition,
Right.
to bring civil unrest to that area, right?
Okay.
Right. So
we do to start off the article now?
Yeah, you can read a little bit on this.
We read a little bit from the article from the Guardian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Defense Force uninformed as U.S. Marines arrive.
Right. So this was an article, from the Guardian media house, and it have many media sources, for example, Express Newsday, right? So they would have, the same, article, but probably they might word it in different ways, right? And again, this is to understand, again, Black people on a whole, you must understand, the culture, the background that they come from, right? So they would have their different, views and opinions, but on a whole, our views and opinion would always, match up. So we might, for example, say, hey, this thing looking real hard, but it's just like slang talk. but they might, as we say, these other nations might think physically hard, but that is not the reality of it, right? So what we read in here now, again, this is their as we say their view on the story that was given to them by probably one of the military personnel, in expressing what took place, at that time, right? So, right?
As joint training exercises between the U.S. Marine Corps 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit and the TNT Defense Force was set to begin today, several government ministers and senior military officials remain tight-lipped about the details of the operation. However, multiple Defense Force sources told Guardian Media that even senior officers had not been briefed on the exercises or their scope.
And why are we reading this article? Because now remember, just like I mentioned before in the earlier part, where in any form of let me say a civil unrest or where war would take place, there would be some kind of warning,
right,
especially when coming to the personals and them who would be as we deemed to be gatekeepers to hold up that forefront. Because now your job as a gatekeeper is to protect the people behind that gate,
right?
And if you are uninformed, unaware, then how could you as we say, give it your all or protect these people behind these gates when you are uninformed, right? And we are here to inform more people, because we're not just going to just stand and let again for over, let me say, 400 plus, we have been faced with challenges, and again the Most High God is waking us back up, to that spirit of identity, to that spirit of awareness, where we would understand that, hey, when we look at the families that are round about us, as our records mentioned, we would now try to look to see where we fit in one of these families. And when we as we say, we seek, as we say, seek ye out of the book of the law. Now we would seek out of these instructions now to understand, hey, what house or what family we come from. And this would, as we say, start to empower us or open our minds to what we would see, as scripture see, we see clearly now. We start to see things clear. We start to see things right. So now when we see things clear and we see things right, what we will do? We'd empower our next brother, our next sister, to make them understand. And how we making them understand? Not by just our ways or our thinking, by reading and explaining what we have been taught, to be empowered as well, to know truth. Right?
Continuing. Speaking on conditions of anonymity, one source said that as of Saturday morning, neither he nor other senior officers had received any information, and first heard about the exercise from Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Sean Sobers during a media briefing on Friday.
Right, and just as I read that, listen to what is so important, and this is why we say the Bible is our constitution, is our laws, because now things like this not happening, as you say, as simple as communication. Because now if we the scriptures make it known or make it clear or to us, communicate daily. We need to communicate. Because now if we don't communicate, what would happen now? There's a breach. And in that breach now, what would happen? Now the enemy would it's easy. It's very easy. It's very easy. Why I think, as we say, with all the intel that coming out with some of these, as we say, ships or some of these pirogues and them that is being destroyed on the waters, and as we say, where is recognized that it wasn't even brought to any sort of justice, to see whether you were committing a crime or whether you were just on your own handling business, right? Because of this simple thing, communication, right? So it's like eyes, as we say, the world bully. Now here we're going on. I going to do as I please or do as I want, because now I have everything within my grasp or within my power. So now I utilizing it.
Can't. So like
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So like I say, for me, right? Just to add to what you're saying, right? Even when we look at the officers or the senior officers or the people that, as you're rightfully saying, supposed to be the gatekeepers, they not knowing what's happening. You understand, on the island, that is showing a sense of failure. Right. You understand, failure against the people of the nation. You understand, because you can't be saying that you're in the same denomination or same unit, and everybody have a different information. You understand? That is something real poor. Now, when I look at that, and I look at the structure of the church, for example, the Christian church, you're seeing whereby it's the same thing, because all the churches, they speak something different.
Right.
You understand? Not in the ISUPK and the commanding general. Right. All these schools, we speak the same thing.
That's right.
You understand? We come out and we warn the people of their sin, the wrongdoing. We show them the signs at the time. Right. We show them the things that has happened to our forefathers, the things that is going to happen, and what we as a people need to do in order for us to come out of this condition. As we was going through last week, when we were saying, the Lord saying in the book of Ezekiel, he set us as watchmen over the house of Israel. Right. As they're always bringing out over this family. That's right. You understand? This is the job of a watchman. This is the job of somebody in charge to look over. This is the duty that was given by the Lord. You understand? Now, the people that saying that they're in charge of the country, they are the ones supposed to be watching over. That's right. So which means everybody's supposed to be in one sync, one coordination to understand what's going on. You understand? And as I touch on the vessels and them that being blown up. You understand? Anybody, I mean, Ray Charles could see that absolutely wrong. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Because the police service in Trinidad, I believe, you understand, could be able to source that whole chain or that whole channel from where they start to where they're going to. Right. Not just say coming in and just blowing up boots. Right. You must want to know where it's going, right? Where it's coming from. You understand? They keep tracing and tracking. They're doing all sorts of CIA operations. Right. You understand? For hundreds of years. Yeah, still going on. Till this day. All type of CIA and PSYOPs. And you can track. You understand? Where the so-called drugs and so forth coming from. Showing you that something is wrong. You understand? And the people that is over us, they don't know. And even if they know, they're not telling us nothing. But the Lord tells us in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1, we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians do something what is very important, which is to gather yourself together. That's right. You understand? Gather yourself together. It's time for us as a people to gather ourselves together, come and understand what the Lord wants and what He requires from us. So when times like these come about or things like this happen, you wouldn't be misinformed. You will understand the signs and the times written by our forefathers for us. That's right. You understand? So like yes, right. And this is again, this is very important for us to to gather ourselves together, especially in times like these, right? We must, right? The Lord, will bring us to that point where we will turn to each other for that assistance. And is the greatest example right now, where it's taking place right now in Jamaica. That is one of the examples. And there are many examples before that. Even in the past, our Levite brothers, on their way, to seek some kind of civil, rests, because of what is taking place in the country right now. So there are a lot of things going on in this house, in this family. But the duty of the watchman, just as I said, is to bring warning. And that warning is always to notify the people, or to notify the family, or to notify this house that we need to, as you say, to clean up ourselves. Right. And how are we going to clean up ourselves? Just as you say, by gathering ourselves together. And that is just, as we say, one of the many aspects of cleaning up ourselves. Right. Because now, to have proper communication, we must do this as well too. This is in the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1, 3 and verse 3. Right. Here it says, can two walk together, right, except they be agreed, right? In order to
to make that communication flow, or to make that communication, as we say, 100, we must agree. You know, like how some people say, I'd agree to disagree. That, as we say, that these are things that, as we say, that are, you know, put to the forefront of our minds,
Right.
to empower us to think like, you know, well, hey, a little of this, we have to know everything the Lord has a balance in.
Right.
But here the thing about it, in order to move forward, we must have that one mindset. That one mindset is we must come to that point where we agree. If we don't agree, then there's no moving forward.
Right.
There's no moving forward in not agreeing. And agreeing, and again, we must agree with the truth.
Right.
Because the truth is, again, is what going to stand, is what going to, you know, keep this house afloat, or have us, you know, in that, you know, good, as we say, good report, that good report when the Lord come.
Right.
When, as you say, when the Most High, you know, bring forth or ask the questions.
Right.
And we see that, you know, in the beginning of, as you say, of our records, when the Lord came to Adam and he asked, where art thou? And when the questions started, you know, asked, now based on the report now that is given, we learn this from.
Right.
Who teach you this? Who teach you this?
Right.
I didn't teach you this. I didn't leave this here. They didn't keep the instruction that will follow. Right, boom, as we see. These are reminders to us. So now when we see, and as you say in the little article, this is as you say, one of the perfect example, because now they're not working together.
Right.
The as you say, the defense force, you know, the ministers are, as you say, who sit in these offices,
right,
they're not working together, they're not agreeing. Because even when you read on a little way down in the article, I believe it might say that if this was to fall in the hands of, let me say, that's you think, and we could read it as well too, right? If it, I think it's part where you say that, or you know, some people in the military, you know, who might be, you know, involved with the different gangs now, right? So all these are reminders unto us, right? Reminders to this house, reminders to this family,
right,
right? Because all these reminders, now again, the enemy would continue to thrive and, you know, to prosper, right? It might seem like their prosperity is awful. Their prosperity, as we say, is black and black, right?
okay.
Their prosperity, because now, as we say, when you look at as you say, to rent these vehicles, you know, to the prison, and they even speak about that many times, and fly over the head of brothers. And this is why we tell brothers, and you know, there's a prison program. There's rehabilitation program in the ISUPK.
Right.
For so-called Black, Latino, and Native Indian, because now to be rehabilitated, to know that, hey, your rivalry against your brother, this is what, as we say, the enemy wants.
Right.
This is what, as we say, the oppressor wants. This is their gain. This is, as we say, this again, how you think, as we say, they would build their franchise? You feel they're building the franchise by you coming to a 9 to 5?
Right.
They're not building the franchise. They must have certain thing, and now you thinking, now, hey, we gotta do business, we gotta do this, or whatever. Not knowing everything that's set up is very strategic. It's set up in, as I say, in an order, right? We go have some of them here. We will take the ones and them, just as the scripture say, the ones who, you know, go after or run after the educational system, use them in this way. We could sway their mind. We will take this one, and then it had this one, you know, we push this in the community.
Right.
And as we say, when you watch everybody now, everybody watching one another, and be on our way,
right,
not knowing that this game was a game plan strategized by who? By our oppressors, by the people then that seek to keep us, you know, to not knowing our identity, just as David, you know, crying he pray, or King David crying he pray. And again, our King Yahweh Jesus Christ, could come and echo the same sentiment, because now the throne that he sit on is who? Of the father David.
Right.
Because now he came through that loins, or he came through that family line. So the spirit we carrying is who? Of the father David. Who again, had favor, in David, the Most High God. So who are you going to sit now in favor with? The Lord. This is why, as you say, it could be of quick understanding, to know and to analyze what is the situation that the nation is, that this family is, right?
Okay.
You get it?
Now I'm feeling fit in this one, but we can
All
go
right.
on 2 paragraphs.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The source expressed concern over the timing. These exercises start tomorrow, and we haven't received any word. Orders were issued on Friday, but no details on the joint training were included. Sometimes instructions arrive after exercises begin, but given the scale and involvement of foreign troops, this is unusual.
Right, and yes, like this is a reminder, and the men or the prophets are old before us. They give these same warnings, Don't feel that you just come and open my Bible and just have to read and die religion.
Right.
Everything that taken place where, as you say, where we've been scattered, the prophets and them did bring the reminder to the people.
Right.
They tell them, hey, this is what's going on right now in the land. This is what's going on in the area that we in. When we go back and we, as you say, when you read in the book of Esther, what Mordecai did. Mordecai saw what was going on at that time, as we say in Shushan. He saw what was taking place. So what he started to do now, that reminder was bring, and wait, say it went through the provinces, to do what? This is why the ISUPK under commanding general again, we would speak the truth, and the truth would always have an effect of offense, because now what it do, it checking you. It's making you or bringing you aware to what is taking place around you. And who doesn't like the truth? The enemies of the Lord. I didn't say that. It recorded right. The Lord have people who hate this. So if you hate what the Lord have set for us, then what you will do? You just like any father. You hate the father, you hate the children.
Right.
You hate the children.
Okay.
And when that happens now you can come and talk peace. You understand what peace is.
Right.
People in, I would say, or on a whole or in general, think that peace is just love and hug and kisses, and say let we be at peace with one another. Let we be. It goes a long way. Just like anything, as we now read, we had to be in agreement in order for that peace to really come to fruition, or come to to some source, or grow to some sort of flourishing place where we will have that peace. But now what we're seeing right now is a lot of destabilization or civil unrest amongst the house or amongst the family. So the Lord is like, hey, all the time, all gather ourselves together, just as I say. Because why? The time that we are in right now is a time for us to really come together.
Right.
Because now everybody else recognizing that. And when I say everybody else, all these other nations recognizing this.
Okay.
All these other families of the house of these nations recognizing that.
Right.
This is why they could come together. They could pool their resources. What resources we have to pool? The little that we have, we still, as we say, be in rivalry to one another. And even though that we have it, as the scripture says, we're going to go to our enemies and want all things.
Right.
The Lord is the one who is building back this house, who's building back this family. So this is why we tell brothers, this is nothing magical. This is nothing, so mysterious. Just like again, like anything that any structure that come to failure, start over again. But this time, in start over again and again. I like to always look at the example that our King lived, and can bring the example and remind that where this house is going to be built, and if it built on any way else than on this, that house short of fall.
Right.
Short of fall. right?
Okay.
We have again.
We just touch this one more paragraph, like
Right.
thing, and then we'll go on the next area.
And those way.
He noted that organizing such exercises requires advanced coordination with the heads of the regiment and the Coast Guard, approval for arms and ammunition through customs and logistical planning, including meals and accommodations for personnel. You understand? So they one side, when you read the story properly, one side saying they know and one side saying what will be needed for these things to happen. But as you're saying, nobody can kick off.
Yeah.
None of the security personnel and the people from the defense force, they didn't say, well, what's going on? You know what I mean? If we need all this logistics, you understand, if we need firearms and ammunition, as they say here, and meals had to be coordinated, nobody can kick up to say what's going on.
Right.
Which means it's either the line or there's not the gatekeepers over our people.
That's right.
That is as simple as it is.
Right.
You understand? Salaki.
Right. And again, all these, as you say, is very important. And I know points that is being, I will tell brother, take notes. I will take notes in it. Take notes of what is taking place.
Right.
Because if you don't take notes of what is taking place now it's easy to put you back to sleep. I rock you back to sleep.
Right.
As they say, awake now, you're listening. But then within a couple minutes or a couple seconds after, you fall right back to sleep. Because, I could pacify, as you say, just as I think you have a scripture we talk about that with its smooth words. We will bring on that as well.
Yeah.
It's easy to put you back to sleep.
Right.
It's easy to pacify you. Just like again, a mother with a child get in trouble, one push a comforter in the mouth, just not to feed, as you say, because now it's like they're looking at different avenues, and this is the mindset of our oppressor. When this one look like you look at the next avenue, and now trying to play catch up. When really and truly you don't even have to play catch up. All you have to know is who, as you say, know who is the enemy. Anybody that doesn't see for you to do well, know that they are against you.
Right.
Know that. And that is as simple as it is, as it could be. Because now anybody that say, yeah, I want everything to be well with you, and then they're not supporting you, then you know this. Then they don't really mean well for you.
Correct.
Because now if we saying, as we say, we talking peace, then now it's supposed to be straight across the board.
Right.
Why it have a wavering in it? Why it have unstable? It not stable.
Right.
Why it unstable? Because why? In order for that it must have a proper or right head ruling over everything. And this is where our king come in, because now he is going to do what? He is going to, as we say, to rule this place.
Right.
And not rule it like what we see happening right now. Not ruling it in that way. And we remind brothers and sisters the importance of as we say, of being family, of being, together, right? This is important for us. And even in doing that, we mustn't be, we mustn't have two minds.
Right.
We mustn't have two mind states.
Yeah, okay.
Because if we have two mind states, what will happen to us? We'd be unstable.
Okay, in the book of James.
Right, yeah.
The book of James, chapter 1 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Who man? Which man?
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
So now, as we say, again, this is how black people just talk. When we talk now, it is like, hey, I might say a double-minded man, but now I referring to, this family, to this house. Hey, all don't have two minds about things that they do.
Right.
Don't have two minds. Try to reach the point where, as you say, we would be agreed, just as we read. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Right.
That will eliminate that double-minded thinking. That will eliminate that double-minded way. Because now when we have that double-minded, we know, as you see, when we look at again in the show last night, the Black Watch again, Commander General Yana has a show every Monday, a podcast, right? From 9 p.m. right to 11, right? Where he bring all the details, all the
Issues,
that taking place right now in the earth, that taking place right now, and highlighting the people, and highlighting the nation, of the importance of us not falling victim to these again these ways, the customs of these other nations.
Right.
And again the brothers that he has with him rolling on that show, again the generals and them in the school, right? General Hyman, General Makala, General Haas, General Sharma, right? The General Kabal, right? General Katam, right? These generals and them, ruling hard, and then again coming under, just like the scripture say, make them officers, make them captains, make them, because why? It has a purpose in it. Because now, how will you know the current affairs that is taking place right now?
Right.
You must have I would say, a structure set up. The Lord always had a structure set up. He always had, that order. So now, in times like these, when that the enemy would come to the place where he, within his mind, he think it to come up against you. Now your duty now again is not. We never pick up no arms and ammunition against nobody. This house.
Right.
We always turn to the Lord. And everything that you're seeing right now, as you say, even when you look at Maduro, where's the first thing that he's seeking?
Peace.
Turning, he making sure and asking, hey, because now we're seeking the Lord.
Right.
Any other nation would do what? What we see happen with Israel and what do you call them? Iran.
Right.
One time. Nobody thought the people in Israel were supposed to be as you say, the true biblical people, or the true Jews. The scriptures didn't say, I didn't read that.
Right.
So it's not my saying. And again, if any personnel want to take it up, no, you have to take it up with what was recorded inside of it.
Right.
The scriptures say they are Jews, but they are not.
Yeah.
But they are the chief house or the synagogue of Satan. Now, that personality or spirit that they have is the spirit of a deceiver. So what they're going to do? They're going to deceive a lot.
Right.
They're going to deceive a lot of people. And in that deception now we would see what was taking place. Now, as you say, on the opposite side now, as you say, Iran, from a next family, from a next house, the Arabs, they not of this house.
Right.
They would, as you say, they would seek to as you say, to ways and customs that they would, but their peace would always, to pick up arms and ammunition first. When come to us now, we, as we say, we literally, that is like, hey, I trained for this,
Right.
but I'm not going to use it unless you come up against me. But my first line of defense is seeking the Lord out to make it known, because now many battles, many wars that we fight, when you look through our records, who fight these battles or who fight these wars for us? The Lord is the one who fight these wars. And He's going to do the same thing again. He's going to do the same thing again, because He know that the people or the nation that we coming up against, they, as scripture identify them, greater and stronger.
Right.
Because now they have all the economic might, all the military might, all that power to do just as they please. But again, the Lord is our Father, and He would, I say, always come and level the playing field, always bring it to the place where we would have that spirit, or we would have that to to know that we are comforted by something that is more supreme than where a man could think in his mind that he could just woke up and destroy. This is who, as you say, the Lord is. The Lord is always our Father to us. And again, he said he didn't choose us because we few in number. You know? He didn't choose us because of that. Because the Lord saw something, just like again, any father having children, you would see the qualities, you know, in his children, right? And again, this is reminders unto us, right? So again, you know, just to remind brothers and sisters, you know, our school location is number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. Number 1 Morris Street, Point 14, right? You can go up and you can check up, you know, our on all our pages, ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago, right? There's a number to call, right? A local number, you know, and an international number. These 2 numbers would be on the the school page, right? You could contact these numbers for any information. Again, anything that you want to donate to the school, you could donate as well, right? You could donate. Again, as we say, this is not religion and our whole. Right. This is our family. So we accept, food and clothing, right? We accept that, right? Because now what we do now, we feed and clothe our brothers and sisters, and not just our brothers and sisters. We feed and clothe the people, right, on a whole. Okay. Because now any I say these nations, as I say, they need. Right. We when you look at all of food and clothing drive, I would say our process was never turned down. They were offered. Right. When we go before, as we say, seeking any aid or whatever, what they would do the majority of the time is say, hey, they look at us with scorn. Right. And again, the reason I could mention this because it was recorded inside of it. The so-called Africans didn't want to eat with us. These Egyptians, okay, they didn't want to eat with us. Okay. They say that they don't mix with sheep herders. They don't do that. So now what they're telling me now, it's showing me that they don't have no regard, for any of this family or any of this house. And this is so important to us, right? We have again.
You can go to the Book of Romans, where, right, it says things written aforetime.
Right.
The Book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Right. And what we bringing out here is things that that were recorded and were written for our learning. And it's important for us because everything that we stay here, as you say, we could go back in the records and we could read about it. Right. Everything that our king speak or talked about, it wasn't anything new. What he did now was brought the understanding, like we understand the importance of who we are today. Right. Because now again, throughout our captivities, many major captivities, the Assyrian, the Babylonian, the Persia Mede captivity, we had identity, we know who we are. So now it's like you're telling your people now, hey, where's the nationality? Now, the first thing you identifying your nationality as the place that or the country that you reside in. We know we were Israelites. We know we were the biblical, as we say, the Jews in these captivities. Because here, why we know that who we were, because these nations will always be at rivalry with us when they all will know to come up against us. Right. How they would know that when we read through our records that hey, this is the people then that that not following our customs, our ways. Let we get rid of them. Right. How they would know that? Because you know why? They know who they are. But you know what we don't know today? We don't even know who we are today. Okay. But here the thing about it now. The Most High God is making it known to us who we are today. Right. Through the prophets, through righteous black men, through that same spirit. That men would go back and search out I would say, seeking out of the truth, seeking out of this book in a right spirit. Right. To know, hey, when everything that I read, all these stories I gave, as you say, as the generals and them just bring it out from time to time, but not coming out from the south. you know, the Lord bringing back that spirit. You know, 1969, a lot of movements was on the go.
Right.
Black Power movement, Islam. Our brother, I say this house get involved in all of that. And the one thing that they never, I say the majority never gravitate was their identity, knowing that they are the biblical Jews or the Israelites. Now we take, I would say we keep the customs of the oppressor, because now we is like, hey, I don't want to get master upset, because master who, you know, all you know, the amenities that I need. But now if I go to rise up against him, now you know, it could have. But this is the position that he wants us in. But again, it always had men that would always stand against it. And the Lord, you know, made everything, as you say, come to pass. And as that time come about, now he doing, now he enlightening us and let we know, hey, this is who he is.
Right.
You have identity, you belong to a nation, you belong to a family. And this is what we have been taught by righteous black men, Hispanic men, and Native Indian men, that we belong to a family. We belong to this house. And it's important for us now to come back to these, as we say, to our house instructions, to come back to our house rules.
Right.
Because now this house have instructions and have rules. And the only way we could make our way or pathway back is to follow these rules and these instructions from what? From this house.
Right.
This is important for us.
Right?
Right?
As they say now, with this house, you understand, as you just read the things written out 4 times written for our learning. You understand, when you go back into the Old Testament, throughout the whole Bible, the things that our forefathers went through, you understand, the things that they understood, the things that they did, the laws given by Moses to us, you understand, from the Most High. These are the things that we have to learn. These are the things that we have to identify, keep, and teach throughout our generation. You understand? We have to learn our identity, who we are, because yet still in 2025, people still calling themselves Africans.
Right.
They go into this history of the Bible, they go into the ways of these other nations and our forefathers, they're going to realize, hey, we was no Africans. You understand? The Africans continually wage war against us.
Right.
You understand? Till this day. You understand? So this is the thing that we have to learn. We have to learn who our enemies are. Through the scriptures, we had enemies. You understand? We have to learn who they are. We also have to learn what we need to do as a people in order for us to be the separate people that the Lord wants us to be. All these things is very important. All these things is what we need to do. We need to learn. Scripture say the things written out 4 times or written for us to do what? Learn.
That's right.
That's why we call this, we say this school is the Israelite school of the universal practical knowledge. It's a school where you go to learn the Bible. You understand? So which means is you have a teacher teaching, you're learning, and you can ask questions. That's something that you can do in the Christian church.
Right.
You understand? Which is something you were supposed to be doing. Say now in the church, you asking the pastor questions and the pastor giving you the answers. But it's not so.
Right.
You understand? That church is only developed for the religious leaders and them to fill their pockets and fill their belly. You understand? When they go to the scriptures, they're seeing that the prophets of old, they went to school as well. They went and learned.
Yeah.
You understand? And then went out in camps. Like what we just do when we go on the street in Port of Spain on the promenade. You understand? Teaching the people, showing them their transgressions, you understand? And showing them what they need to do to come out of that sinful way or to come out of the transgressions.
That's right.
That is happening. Giving the people and them the warning of things that is coming, things that is about to happen. As we was just saying to the leaders from before, the leaders that is over the country, they're not showing the people what really going on. Right. So everybody have to hear, say, he say, they say, or look on the outside.
Right.
And whatever news coming on from the outside to try and keep the sanity with the things that are happening. But in this school, I mean, it have the leaders here. You understand that the Lord set up that is going to show you so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, the things that you need to know. You understand? Especially like in this time of war, we was bringing out the show last week where the first, where we have World War I is recorded in the Bible, World War II, and showing that World War III is going to come quick. You understand? These things is important for us to know. These things is important for us to understand as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, especially in this time. So, like, yes.
Right. And again, you know, this is the job of a watchman, right? And you know to take note as well to when instructions is given, right? You know, the watchman, you know, always, you know, carry these instructions, right? And you know, when warning is being you know made known, right? When the Lord send, you know, as you say, he'll give the angels instructions to move, they would move. And you know, in knowing that, and again the perfect example is, you know, when the angels went to Abraham, you know, before they went, they were on, you know, on course with the instructions of the Lord. This is why, you know, we now being, you know, that in this form, because now the scriptures identify us as angels as well, right? Being, you know, the angels, I think is in it are two, it's celestial and terrestrial, right? Christ could have take up, you know, that form of being, you know, in that being, but he chose to be one like us, one like your brethren, right? And showing us that we could, you know, function, you know, in this I would say in this body, in doing right things and keeping order and walking right, following instructions, because these angels took and followed the instructions. They were on a mission, and the mission that they were on was to do to bring to destruction wickedness.
Right.
There's a time that is coming where the Lord is going to destroy this wickedness that is upon, and you see that is plagiarizing this place right now.
Okay.
And in the minds or the mindset of these other nations, they think that they could subdue it by what they have or what they have, you know, they have, you know, in their minds that they created that. Not knowing, it's see that these things that they created would be for their own destruction.
Okay. Yeah, let me go to the book of Isaiah.
Yeah.
Take that one as you
Yeah.
know that one there,
Right.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 7. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still.
Right. Yeah,
continue.
Yeah.
Now, go, write it before them in a table and note it in a book.
And this is again, this is why, you know, we are not affiliated, because what is being written before us in these records, it must be brought, you know, to brothers and sisters to know truth, to know who they are. And this is again the job of the watchman, to bring, to highlight what is taking place. All right, so you see, write it in a book. Go ahead.
That it may be for the time to come and forever and ever.
Right, and this time that we are in, we are part of that time forever. So we are just, I'll say, in this phase of this time where, as again, a lot of things is being brought to the forefront, and prophecy, biblical prophecies is coming to pass. It have in that times where prophecies were fulfilled. Now in this time, a lot is coming to pass and will be fulfilled. This is why it is recorded in our history book, to make known to this house or this family the importance of what? Following these instructions, gathering ourselves together, being in one, I say, in that mindset of agreeing, so that we can move forward as a family. Understanding that everything that as I say was recorded in a book for us, to this house, to this family. Again, this is reminders unto us. This is reminder to this house, to this family, and the importance of that is us knowing who we are, our identity. I say in 2025, brothers and sisters should understand this, that they are not Africans. They are the biblical Jews, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. We would as you say, would gravitate to things that would destroy us mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Right.
This is the job of, as you say, of the empowerment of our oppressor, to destroy you in this way, in this aspect. So you're in your minds, you would think, yeah, I have as I say, I have a good job. I have, 100 degrees. And nothing wrong with these things. But to know the purpose of helping bring some stability to your house, to your family, then it could go a long way. And when we talk about family, a lot what we've been taught as well too, the family that we look at is just our intermediate family, like they have a destructor, the family, nuclear family. We are extended family. I've always been an extended family.
Right.
Meaning these sons and them, this house always used to reach out to one another, always just assist one another. And who again, a lot of these nations mimic that.
Yeah.
This is why when you look at them, their prosperity, Moab, the Chinese, I would say the Elam, when you look at them, they mimic that, because now they look at family. They don't look at at outside of that family, because now in order for that family to thrive, I say take great sacrifice. The first great sacrifice that we must make is to come back to our heritage, our culture, and stop calling ourselves by any other name,
right,
than who we are, right?
Okay.
Yeah, just a second.
All right. So again, our school location, Morris Street, Point 40, number 1. Again, check out our upcoming food and clothing drive. Right. Go to our webpage, right? ISUPK and Tobago, and the information would be there in a short time. Right. That. Is that it?
Okay.
Yeah, shalom.
With that, you say shalom.
Yeah, shalom.
Trinidad and Tobago under commanding General